Hello.
Hello.
Tejas.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Hello.
Shubda madam. Okay, she's also there.
Yes.
I think that the participants have already joined.
Yes.
So we can start the session. Other students can join.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Good evening to one and all. I am Sarita Ambadekar, Head of the Department Computer Engineering. Welcome you for the second webinar on the topic How to Get Started in Bug Bounty or Capture the Flag. The speaker of the webinar is Mr. Tejas Bharambe. Tejas is our student alumnus of 2016-17 batch from Computer Engineering Department of KJSIEIT. He has done his Master of Science in Cybersecurity. He has a work experience in Skynet Secure Solution Private Limited and many more companies. And thanks to Tejas for showing his interest to conduct this webinar. Thank you, Tejas.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the introduction.
I
So,
thanks coordinator of this webinar, Shubda Labde Madam, to communicate with alumni students and arranging these webinars for the benefit of current students. Actually, yesterday we have conducted one seminar. So that was preparation for job interview. That is very successful, and the feedback of the students are very nice. So I congratulate once again Shubda Madam and Computer Department, all the faculties. I request Tejas to give his detailed introduction because I had just give a few introduction lines about you, but please give your detailed introduction and start the session.
sure. Thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. It's always a great pleasure to give back as much as I can. And first, I'll start with thanking the department and the college for giving me this opportunity. They have been great professors and staff, not just during engineering, but after I completed my engineering, their support was of immense value. Them and my fellow classmates. Those are the two entities I have learned most from. Not just like online resources, they do help, but the professors are the place where you start learning when you are in engineering, right? So they are the first point of learning, and then you go to the classmates, and then you learn from outside. Just to give a brief introduction about myself, I've just recently graduated from Syracuse University in cybersecurity, and I graduated from Somaiya 2 years back. Yeah, 2 years back, and I have worked with some of the best professors. I started in security in fourth year, and I was doing a lot of projects while doing freelancing, and when later I started my own business. And parallelly, I was working with committees to work on technical festivals and different events in the college. So there was like a lot of hats I was wearing at that time, and the support I've got from all the staff, literally starting from the principal sir to each and every lab assistant, their support has been of immense value, and has helped me grow during engineering. Those are like 4 of the best years I had till now. So I deeply express my gratitude to all the staff, professors, everyone at the college. To give a brief introduction about myself, as I said that I started in security in my fourth semester, and I was working for Skynet Secure after completing my certification by EC Council. The certification is Certified Ethical Hacker. So if anybody wants to actually pursue cybersecurity as a career, you can think of that certification as a starting point. I'll speak about more about it later. But after Skynet Secure, I started doing some freelancing, and then I started my business, where I also learned about the business aspects, because we as engineers, we know only about the technical aspect, right? What code will work, what will not work, and how a feature has to be developed, implemented, stuff like that. But we actually don't know what works in the market, what works for our consumers, what works for the society at a scale. So I understood that part there. After coming here to Syracuse in New York, I learned more about the technical side. So one of the interesting projects that I did here was working on Intel processors and how do we secure that on a distributed system. More specifically, I would say it was a combination between distributed systems and cloud. So all the Intel processors with enclave enabled, you can Google it. It's a pretty deep core concept in just a minute. In security. So it was a research project I was working on, and it has been a fun experience as well. Some of my great memories have been during my engineering have been like working in software development cell. Me and Shubda ma'am, we worked on a project where I developed, me and Niket Bharti, one of my classmates, we developed a web application for students to learn mathematics. So we deployed it in a small school somewhere near Kasara. So it was one of the great experience I had. Just an interruption. I think somebody is sharing their screen online. Anjali Ramrit.
Anjali, please do not share your screen. Dear participants, please do not. Please keep your videos off and mute your mic.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Anyway, so that's like a brief introduction about myself. So, all the second, third year people, fourth year people, congratulations, you have made it through engineering. Life is just starting now, so get ready for the fun as well. But second and third year guys, you have a lot of opportunity ahead of you, and take advantage of the time you have. It's the most precious time where you get a lot of freedom to try different stuff, and study and have fun while studying and working. So anyways, let's get started with our topic today. I'll just present. Okay. Okay, I guess all of you can see my screen now. Okay. So yeah, we'll get started with our topic today, how to get started in bug bounty or CTF. So before I get to a lot of hands-on stuff in this webinar, most of it is going to be practical. We'll study a little bit of theory in the start, but I'll first start with like what is bug bounty and CTF, right? So anybody who wants to start in cybersecurity, it's a good point to learn some basic stuff, some fundamental stuff, and then go on developing your skills along the way. So so I'll start with capture the flag. So capture the flag is basically a system, maybe a web application, can be any computer system where you can you have to crack the system, find bugs and crack the system, and find a flag somewhere that is hidden. So it's more of a competition. So you might have participated in hackathons where you develop a software or application that that corresponds to the purpose of that hackathon. It's a similar kind of stuff. It's a similar kind of thing with capture the flag. Here you just have to crack a computer system and get the flag. In bug bounty, you still have to crack the system, but you just have to find the bugs and report them instead of finding a flag. And capture the flag competitions or CTFs, they are a resource for security engineers or enthusiasts to develop their skills. That doesn't pay them, but to develop their skills, to polish their skills, right? Or whoever is a beginner, he can start with capture the flag. In bug bounty, it's actually a real world scenario where companies post their bug bounty programs, and you get paid for that. So if you are enticed that you should do bug bounty because it's paying you, it's not a starting point, but you can get into it later when you have certain set of skill set, which we will talk about later. I'll Without taking much time, I'll hop on to what things we'll cover here. I'll first tell you some theory about how to approach CTF and bug bounty. One thing that most of the people get wrong in CTF and bug bounty, or in security, in technical domains of security, is their approach, is the mindset. You can't just start something by scratch without any roadmap on how to achieve things, right? So I'll speak about it. I'll later then we'll take a look at the platforms for CTF, Try Hack Me and Hack the Box. And for bug bounty, we'll look at Bug Crowd and Bug Crowd University. I'll in brief tell you what the future scope is and how security is much bigger than what usually is known, and what all stuff comes into the picture when you think of security domain. And maybe in the end we can address some of the questions you can have. You can post them in the text here, I think, yeah, in the chat here, so we can address some of the questions if we have time in the end. So let's get started on how to approach CTF and bug bounty. Most of you might be interested in developing applications or software, or some real world software. I don't know exactly the demographic of how many of you have tried developing one application or a software, but whenever you think of developing a software, the first thing that comes into your mind, or should come into your mind, is what SDLC should I follow? What software development lifecycle should I follow? It can be a waterfall model, it can be a spiral, it can be an agile model, anything. But what model you need to follow? You don't just start with like, I need to build an application for this, and you get your computer and start developing the application. No, you first like gather what is your consumer base, or what is your target audience, what will be the requirements. You take the requirements and you design the application on paper first, what the system will look like. That you have a front end, you have a server, you have a database server, right? You have an application server. So you design the architecture first, so you have a clear roadmap, and that makes your application to be successfully built. So similarly, we have a roadmap in security, or a guide in security, and the most popular guide is the Lockheed Martin Cyber Kill Chain. So here you can see there are like 7 steps, right? So starting from reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control actions on objectives. So it's a very concise guide. Cyber Kill Chain is a very concise guide for security engineers, for blue team and red team. So there are like 2 teams usually. The red team is the one who attacks the system, target system, finds bugs, and then reports it. Those are the ethical hackers. And the blue team are the one who have to implement the controls for the system. So they don't actually hack or attack any system, right? So this model work for both of them. However, for the purpose of our webinar today, I've simplified it, and I've simplified it into 4 steps, and this is a general model, right? You will find variations of this model on the internet if you try to dig deep in security, right? So at start, the first step we have is reconnaissance. Even in the Cyber Kill Chain, you might have seen there is the first step is reconnaissance here, right? So reconnaissance, it's a big word, but to simplify it, I would say it's information gathering. You have a target system, right? So you are given a target system and you are told that this is a web application, hack it and tell me what the bugs are in the system. So the first thing you need to do, you cannot directly start with tools or anything and try hacking something. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to first know what the application does. So you go to Amazon's website, right? You buy products from there. So let's take an example of Amazon.com. You go on Amazon's website. What do you see? You see a featured product. Maybe let's go on Amazon.com right now. So right, you see some featured product here on top, some of here, and so you have like featured product. You have a menu here, you have a search bar, you have another menu option, some of the services of Amazon, Whole Foods. Then you have a sign in login function and different like orders, accounts. You have a cart here. So these are like features of Amazon's website. So you need to understand first what different features are in the system, right? Because if you don't know the system, how will you find bugs? So you should, in the first step, the important stuff is what does the application or system do and what it is running on. So we visited Amazon.com site, so you need to know what language it is built on, right? What framework. So if it's built on Python, is it built on Django framework or Flask framework? If it is built on Flask framework, what version of Flask framework it is been using? So you have to understand all this stuff. Then we go to the next step, and the next step is scanning. This is a very important step, and most of the attackers or ethical hackers fail in this step of the kill chain. So in scanning, now you have all this information, right, about what the application should do and how should it do the features that it is presenting. In scanning phase, you have to figure out what the application should not do, but it still does, right? So let's go to Amazon.com's website again. So you see a search bar here, right? Now, what the usual feature of this application is, you just type in a product and you will get that product on your web page, right? So what if an attacker inserts some, let's say, a JavaScript code here and executes a vulnerability called cross-site scripting on the web page? So that is something that the web application should not allow the user or the attacker to do, but it still does. So this is how this is a manual approach to find vulnerabilities. There are tools like Nessus and Acunetics you can use, but tools are not always efficient. And if you want to really pursue a career in cybersecurity, always focus on the manual approach, because that's what the companies are hiring for. And believe me, if you want a job in Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Oracle, Autodesk, big companies like this, they are going to ask you for a manual approach and a very strong fundamental understanding of security concepts. So you need to focus on that. The next step we come to is exploitation. So you have now vulnerabilities, right? So in the Amazon.com's website, you find cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. Now you have to consider one payload which you will insert. So where this on this side, let's say this is a script alert. Sorry, it's fine. Right. So this statement is my payload. So what payload is basically what exploit and payload are. Exploit is a gun, right? And payload are the bullets. And whatever the result will be some malicious activity, which will be the next step. So in exploitation, you take undue advantage of that vulnerabilities. And it does happen sometimes, like if I insert a JavaScript code in here and now I click search, it doesn't reflect any JavaScript code, right? It doesn't reflect any cross-site scripting. So the thing is, even if it is allowing this payload to be inputted, there are some countermeasures at the back end. So every vulnerability or any possibility of vulnerability that you find may not be exploitable. So you need to try and exploit it to see if that vulnerability really exists, or are there any countermeasures or any defense mechanisms built for that. The next step is post-exploitation. In post-exploitation, you just exfiltrate data. Now, the script tag that I inputted here is a very simple script. It just pops up an alert box here. I mean, it doesn't, it has a defense mechanism, but if it is vulnerable, it will pop up a text box. The different thing I can do is I can steal users' cookies, or take over an account or get access to someone else's account. So that is like the post exploitation stuff. That's the enough theory, I would say. So I'll just recap everything. The first step is you gather information. Second, you scan for vulnerabilities. You take undue advantage of those vulnerabilities. And once you get access, you actually perform some malicious actions. There is another fifth step which I have not included because it's not for ethical hackers, is to cover your tracks. So to erase all the log files where maybe your IP address, attacker's IP address, is recorded, but that's not needed in here for bug bounty and CTF. So let's get started with the actual practical stuff. If you are a complete beginner, right, you don't know anything in security, and I expect fourth year and third year people who have completed their third year and fourth year, they should know some fundamentals about security. But if you have forgotten some stuff, and it's very natural to forget what you study because there's abundance of knowledge out there. But if you want to pursue this career, you can go on this Try Hack Me website, right? So I'll just open. Yeah, so you can sign up here on Try Hack Me. You can select a complete beginner. A lot of its features are free, but I would suggest, if you can, take a paid version. It's like 700 rupees a month, and you just require a month subscription, not more than that. You can take this learning path called complete beginner, and you can learn a lot. So you can complete all these learning paths, and you will have a great strong foothold in security. And why I recommend Try Hack Me as a platform for beginners is because they guide you in every way. It's very common in security to encounter a roadblock where you have no idea what to proceed, and you won't find anything on the internet when you search on Google about what to do with that problem, because there are numerous problems, right? So one of them, like Try Hack Me, has this things called rooms, right? So now what I have opened is a vulnerability room, and every room is designed for a specific system with specific vulnerabilities in there, and it gives the candidates experience. They can so that they can learn and polish those skills. So in this room, we can see here like active recon, that is information gathering, web app attacks, and privilege escalation. Privilege escalation is basically, if you have studied operating systems, you know that there are users in an operating system where everyone has different privileges. Like for the entire Somaiya network, all the students have certain privileges, so they can't have admin access to edit other students' information or professors' information or any other data resource that is available on the Somaiya network. So that admin access is with the administrator, who might be sitting somewhere that you don't even know about. So anyways, these are like different privileges. And privilege escalation vulnerability is basically you try, hack, and attack, and get the access of admin or privileged user. So I'll show you a quick demo and why Try Hack Me is good for complete beginners. Now you see here's deploy button. I'll deploy this machine. So if you get a paid version, you can open a Kali Linux machine in the browser itself. Otherwise, you will have to go to Access, and you will have to set up an OpenVPN connection. So it gives a very easy way, so you don't have to much worry about it. It will guide you through each and every step, like how to install OpenVPN and how to start OpenVPN. So you don't have to worry about that. Just read each and every line and try to follow all the steps. So okay, this machine is now deployed. We see the reconnaissance phase. In the reconnaissance, you're a complete beginner, you don't know what nmap is. right? So they give an explanation of what Nmap is. Basically, it's a tool to discover host and services. So if like if I'm a beginner, I don't know what host and services on a computer are, you need to Google it and understand it. One just a tip I would give everyone, no matter you are, if you're working in security or data science or machine learning or cloud engineering or system engineering or hardware engineering, whatever you do, make sure you understand the problem and then find the solution. A usual habit as computer enthusiasts or computer engineers we have is, whenever we encounter a problem while coding or while compiling the code, we get an error, we just search, copy paste that error into Google, and then we find a solution. That solution works good and we are all set. Well, this might work when you're designing some simple solutions or applications, but when you get to an advanced level, which you definitely will in the next 5 years, uh, for people who are graduating now and people who are in second, third year, maybe in 6, 7 years, but definitely within 10 years for all of you, you won't find a lot of solutions on the internet for your problems. So whenever you encounter a problem, even in a simple C or a Python code, make sure you understand the problem. Like in a C code, a common runtime error that we get is segmentation fault. Many of us just try to copy and paste some part of the code and type segmentation fault and get the solution for it on the internet. Don't do that. Try and understand why it is having segmentation fault. One way to solve segmentation fault is like you use a debugger called GDB. Using GDB, you can debug the program and find where things are going wrong in runtime. So try to understand the problem, and that's important in security. You will learn slowly but steadily. Don't try to learn everything in 5 days or 10 days. In security, definitely it's not something like that. I have taken a year to actually understand all the fundamental concepts and get a strong foothold in the basics of security. So it takes a lot of time, and this was like one of the mistakes that I made in the beginning when I was starting out in security. I wanted to learn everything very fast. Like I started today, I want to learn everything by the end of the third or fourth day, right? That doesn't work. You need to build, you need to practice. It's like mathematics, right? You know the formula, you can by heart the formula, but if you don't know how to apply that formula to a particular problem, you're not able to solve, you won't be able to solve the problem. It's important that you keep practicing on different problems and how to apply a formula in different ways. So let's get back to the try hack me. You see here Nmap, open source powerful tool. Now it is guiding everything, right? Scan the box, how many ports are open. So let's scan the box. I'll open a terminal here. Nmap -sv. What's the machine IP address? Got it. So here I have used nmap command with service version detection. So what basically this means is, this is the host, right? This is our target system, and every target system has some ports through which it communicates with the outside world, right? And every port has a service enabled on it. So there may be some ports that are not used or closed. So these are the list of open ports. Now you see here 21. Most of you might know that 21 is used for file transfer protocol, right? So FTP is a service. What version of the service is running? So it's running VSFTP, FTPD. It's a software version of for FTP, and it's running 3.0.3, right? For 22, it's SSH. It's how someone remotely connects to a computer. Now the next question that here asked is, what version of the Squid proxy is running on the machine? So you can see that there is a Squid proxy here, 3.5.12, and you can just input it here and click the answer button, right? So this is how this platform guides you through each and every process, and you can learn it slowly and steadily, but it will get your fundamentals strong. If you are like solving continuously for a month, and you'll get an idea on how to get a strong foothold. When you have a strong foothold, you have your basics clear, you can start parallelly with Hack the Box, right? This is the next platform, and it's a bit challenging. The difference between Try Hack Me and Hack the Box is, you have this video. If you play this video, they give you the entire process on how to do or complete this room. Alongside that, you have some write-ups here, right? So you can just visit one of the write-ups, and okay, so this is a video, I'm sorry. So if you visit one of the write-ups, right, so they have given answers, question answers, everything in this write-up. So if you're stuck here, you can reach out to help on these articles. For Hack the Box, it's more challenging because you don't have solutions in this. There are two different categories here: active and retired. Active is something which gives you points, so it's like a game in here. So if you want to earn points, solve active systems. If you don't want to earn points, just learn. You can solve retired systems. So here are machines, and you can these are retired machines, right? And these are active machines. So active machines are quite difficult, and I would not suggest or recommend to start with these ones if you're starting out. If you have some experience and you have some idea on how to do proceed with penetration testing, you can solve these machines. I'll show you one of the challenges on how to do them. Okay. Let's pick this one, cartographer. I'll start this instance. And so as I said, here you have to capture the flag, right? So I'll show you what the flag looks like. I'll copy this domain and I'll open the browser. Sometimes it runs slow in a browser. Okay, got it. It will take a minute or so to start the instance, but I'll show you later on how to get a flag. So this is a very easy machine. It's a retired machine. I won't get points even if I solve it. But if you are transitioning from Try Hack Me to Hack the Box, I would not recommend you to start with the machine. Start with these challenges, right? And if you see here, there are like categories of challenges. So the green one you see, those are like easier challenges. In the yellow, they are a bit difficult. So start with the easy ones, go with difficult, and then go to like very intense and insane difficulty challenges. So this way you will get a lot of experience and you will learn a lot of things along the way. There are different categories as well. So if you are interested in like reversing challenges, you can go into the reversing. So you here you will get a binary. Let's say I've solved this one. You will get a binary and you have to open this binary and try to look at the assembly code. So you have to actually understand how an assembly code works, right? What is its syntax? So it is like abundance of knowledge here, so you can work on that. So if you are starting out, go on Try Hack Me, try to get some skills, then shift to Hack the Box parallelly. Try to solve as much challenges as you can, and then you can shift to machines. Let's see if the instance has been loaded. Yes. So yeah, you can see here we have a login screen. I mean, you have to first do all the recon, but just to show you a flag, I'll skip to important stuff directly. So once you see a login screen, the first thing that comes into an attacker's mind is SQL injection, because that's the most powerful way to bypass login and get access to any account. So what I'll do is I'll just put an apostrophe comment, and maybe I'll use another SQL comment. Right. So this is apostrophe. This is a very standard way to check a SQL injection vulnerability. I click on it. Okay, it's not working. Maybe I'll put some other way to comment if it's using some other SQL engine at the backend. And yes, it gets bypassed. Now you have to look at the source code as well. There are always some hints. So this is a CTF style challenge, right? It's not a bug bounty challenge, it's a CTF style challenge where you will have to find a flag. Now there's no input vector here, there's no text box or anything where you can input something. So what's the next step? But there is one input vector where you see that info equal to home. So what I'll do is maybe I'll use cross-site scripting here. Does it work? No, it doesn't work. They have a mechanism for cross-site scripting. In bug bounty, you have to try a different approaches to every input vector. For that, you have to study the OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, web vulnerabilities. If you are working on bug bounty, we'll talk about it later though. So, but in CTF, it's important to focus on getting a flag. So since this is an input vector, I'll just put in flag here. We got a flag, and what I'll do is I'll submit this one, so I get some points maybe, or just the satisfaction of solving a challenge. That's the most rewarding thing, is the satisfaction of solving a challenge. Piece of cake. Difficulty, it was not too difficult. I submit. Correct flag. Congratulations. Thank you. So yeah, this is the Hack the Box platform. You can practice on it. It is some of it features are paid. I won't recommend you to go with the paid version. Just try and solve the active machines. That will help you, but don't start with it directly. The next we come is Bugcrowd and Bugcrowd University. So Bugcrowd is one of the most popular platform. There is another platform called HackerOne, but Bugcrowd has a lot of resources, and one of the bug bounty platform that I use personally. So here you see these are like real companies who have posted their bug bounty programs in here. So let's say I'll go to Unilever vulnerability disclosure program. Okay, so in here this company has posted a vulnerability disclosure program, and they have certain rules, right? So what is in scope? The scope is in this domain. You can't access like admin.unilever.com or some any other target that might be in the company, but not in this domain, right? So there are like three things you need to focus on. One is the scheme. Is it HTTP, HTTPS, right? The second is the subdomain. So admin.unilever.com or user.unilever.com, info.unilever, they don't come into this target domain, right? So you need to focus on this. Now, what is the scanning activity? So you can see here, please do not use automated vulnerability scanner in this program. That is what I was talking about earlier. You know, most companies don't pay or are not willing to pay for engineers who just use vulnerability scanners. Of course, they will hire you because you have the skills to use scanners and tools. But big companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, they hire for people who have actual skills, not just the use of a tool. So make sure that you actually learn stuff, right? You can use tools like Acunetics, Nessus, and Zap, OWASP Zap, but make sure you understand the problem and the solution and then learn the tools. So there are some exclusions here as well. Cross-site request forgery. These are the vulnerabilities that you may find, but they won't accept your submission. So it's a long list, and you might get overwhelmed because by seeing this list. But don't worry, once you start in bug bounty and once you start acquiring skills, you will understand that these are not so serious vulnerabilities and have not an impact, don't have an impact on the application or the company. So this is a very advanced thing. If you really have really good skills, you can go on bug bounty. One thing I would like to recommend all of you is to go on Bugcrowd University. Just search Google Bugcrowd University and you will find a lot of webinars here, like literally from how to design your resume to pen testing, you know, Android app vulnerabilities, hardware hacking, everything. They have a lot of resources. They also have a Bugcrowd's GitHub. So here, if you are actually starting after getting some basics clear, you can start with these modules, and you can start with bug bounty hunting. But before getting into directly into bug bounting and web application security, I would request you to go to Portswagger. It's a company that has developed Burp Suite. It's a tool used for web application security. And go to their learning materials and labs. These are free. You don't have to pay for anything. And solve all the labs. So you will get an idea of all the most popular web application vulnerabilities, and how different approaches are there to find them and exploit them. So you have authentication, so SSRF, server side request forgery and template injection, web cache poisoning, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, CSRF, XML external entities. So I would recommend you to go on the OWASP top 10 website and say so here you see these are like the most common found top 10 web vulnerabilities who have huge impact as well. So study these before you get into bug bounty. And one more thing I missed in Try Hack Me and Hack the Box is you have socials section here in Try Hack Me as well as in Hack the Box, right? Join their Discord channel once you start, because I'll show you. This is the Discord channel I use for connecting to. This is Hack the Box. This is Bugcrowd. Even Bugcrowd has their own Discord server, and Try Hack Me. The security community is very helpful, and it's really a community that protects its own and helps you through everything. They will help you through learning whatever you want to. So there are a lot of resources, there are a lot of questions being asked here, and there are a lot of answers posted here. So you can learn a lot from the community. Always connect. Like I have some of the people who are very advanced, experienced 15-20 years in security and pen testing, who I talk to on a regular basis and learn from them. So these are the stuff that you should focus on. So I'll just give a brief recap. If you're a beginner, go on Try Hack Me, complete their rooms, get your fundamentals clear. If you are on a bit advanced level, you already are clear with your fundamentals, go on Hack the Box, try solving all the challenges first, and then go to the machine. And if you are like really good, then I mean one of the best, then you can go on Endgame and the other labs. These are like the toughest labs, and very few people are can solve those labs. But definitely with determination and slow, steadily progress, understanding everything as you go along the way will help you reach there. And if you want to earn a little bit of money alongside, you can do this. Don't immerse yourself completely. You're still in engineering, so focus on your study. And one small tip before I get to the next part of this webinar is a lot of people in engineering think that the syllabus may be outdated or stuff like that, or operating systems or some other core subject, which is like, or maybe you're studying some 8085 Intel processor, 8086 processor. Focus on that. I have given interviews for the biggest companies like Facebook and Amazon and Microsoft, and the only question they ask is about operating systems that was designed in 1970s and 80s. But those are the real fundamental concepts that will help you. So study them and make sure you don't forget them. Practice them, revise them as you go, because it's very natural that you will forget the detailed parts, because it's a way too much knowledge to take in. But revise them, keep revising. And one more tip that I would like to give: whenever you solve any challenge or any machine, try to take notes. because that's how you will retain most of the information. One mistake that I made when I started out was I used to find a problem, understand the problem, find a solution, but then I never used to write it down. So I used to forget it after some time, and then I used to had to learn it again. So it's important that you write it down. That's why you see a lot of people posting write-ups. I mean, they do post write-ups for other people as well, but they write it because they want to retain that information. What's the future scope? uh, in security, there are other stuff as well. What I told you today was just about pen testing and web application. The other stuff that comes is risk, business, and compliance. So these stuffs are like on the business side. I would say not to worry about that now. You will get to know as you grow and have experience, because those stuff need a bit of experience. But those are something that you can consider as well if you are planning on doing a business degree later on in your life. But you can, this is a good starting point with pen testing and bug bounty. You can start with that, and then you will, once you start learning, you will get to know a lot about other risk and compliance as well. About jobs, fourth year people, I think you already have a job, and congratulations on that. If not, you will get a job, don't worry. There are a lot of opportunities out there right now. For second and third year people, focus, I mean, not just on getting jobs, but focus on the core skills, get your fundamentals clear, uh, and have fun while doing work. Don't just have fun, but try to work. One thing that I will tell you, that as I said in the beginning, I had I was really fortunate to have the best professors who were willing to guide me and give me freedom to pursue my passion. But also your classmates, they are very important. Make friends for life, and they are the people from whom you learn the most in your career. Because like my class was really amazing. One of them, Santosh Narayan, he's in US, in University of Southern California, and he was one of the best. Two teams from my class won the Mastec Deep Blue project competition. So our class was one of the amazing, I would say. I'm proud of my class, and I've learned a lot from them. So learn from your peers as well, and whatever knowledge you have, try to share it. Don't keep it to yourself. That's one thing that will increase your confidence on your knowledge. About getting a job here in India or in US, about internships, I would recommend to all students. This is a very few taken. This is a path that is taken by very few people. But people who are in second year, third year, it's bit tricky for you guys because of the lockdown situation and everything. But for second year people who are just starting out, I would say apply to internship next summer, to not just in India, but in Europe and US, because companies do offer internships to international students. Their interviews are tough. They're like 2-3 rounds, but that experience will be really valuable. And participate in a lot of competitions like Google Summer of Code or Mastec Deep Blue project, or any online competitions on, maybe you can find them on Hacker Rank, or even for security on Hack the Box. So practice your skills. Don't just study and keep the book aside once you're done with the semester. No, practice as much as you can. It's completely like mathematics. You need to practice what you have learned, otherwise you won't be able to reproduce your knowledge. And I thank you all for giving me this opportunity, the department, the college, and all the candidates who are listening to me. I hope you get most out of this webinar, and I'll share a lot of things that I've talked about today in this webinar. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can ask me questions anytime there. I am on LinkedIn a lot. and I'll answer the questions as soon as I can in a timely manner. In fact, within a day, I would say. For Try Hack Me write-ups, I do write my own write-ups. You can visit my website as well. There, I'll share the PPT with maybe Professor Labde, so she can share with you. I've just started a YouTube channel, so I just have one video there on Hack the Box machine, but I'm planning to post 2 videos every week on different machines. So those are very simple machine walkthroughs for beginners. So if you want to start, you can go there and watch in order to learn. So if you have any questions, maybe we can take them. Okay, so I have one question here from Shivam Shukla. Which one will be the best option for MS, data science, or cybersecurity? Well, Shivam, I would suggest you that don't go for something that is in trend. Don't go for trends. It's important that you focus on what you want to do, right? So just focus on like, would you like to do data science, or would you like to do cybersecurity, or would you like to just be a system engineer, right? Do you want to like code for really low level processors, or in assembly language? So there's different stuff, maybe in IoT, or there are a lot of things to do, but and one way to find what you really love doing is try hand at everything. What is cloud? Try doing something. AWS, Azure provide a lot of free resources, so you can learn there. Also, like for security, I gave you some resources, so you can try a hand at that. If you don't like it, it's fine. You can just shift to other domain. Not everybody loves some field. Like I have very few interest in machine learning, to be honest. So but Santosh Narayan, he was one of my classmates. He was very enthusiastic about machine learning. Dhawal Thakkar, he was a great guy in machine learning. So it depends really on you. For MS, if you are just looking at from the perspective of job opportunities, both have equivalent job opportunities, so you don't have to worry much about that. Next question, Voyam Binani, he has posted, which programming language background might be required? Anything specific? No programming language background. I mean, you need to know how, at least programming in one language. It can be C, C++, Python, Java, Perl. It's your pick. Don't focus on, or there might be a lot of resources telling you that you should know Python for security. No, Python is an easy to code language. That's why most of the people have adopted it. But I have written most of my code till date in C, because it's really fast, it's really slick, and you learn a lot from it. I've written code in Fortran and a little bit of assembly language as well. So focus on just getting the logic right, the thinking right. You can also go on a source code. If people who want to work in coding and system engineering, they can go on this resource and explore. So here you have like mock interviews and challenges, and learn like really basic stuff like arrays, linked list, and binary tree recursion. So you can study that. Arpit Sharma, how to switch from EXTC to cybersec, like where to start from? I've just mentioned, like you can start from this. It doesn't matter you are from EXTC or computer science or IT. If you have the necessary skills, you can do that. You can just start from Try Hack Me and Hack the Box, and you will understand along the way. Bhavya Shah, sorry, I've already discussed how to pursue a cybersec as a career after graduation. Bhavya, one thing I would like to tell you is focus on developing skills, right? so you can, as I said, like you can start with try hack me and hack the box, focus on that. And once you start acquiring skills, you will understand, and try to talk with the community, be in touch with the community, ask them questions. You will definitely get some really helpful advice from people who are like 10-15 years experience. If you have already graduated, or you are graduating this May, this June, you can definitely start learning. If you have a job, start learning on the side, utilize as much time as you can. People, I must tell you that people who come here to MS, or people who really work hard back in India, they are working like 12 to 14 hours a day to really get their knowledge right, and also work alongside the way to earn money. So try to make use of as much time as possible. Nisha ma'am has posted that, can you suggest some problem statements for mini project and B major project? So, okay. Yeah, one thing I missed was about projects. So for projects, I would recommend to, the first thing is approach. What approach you should take is not to find projects on the internet. Don't Google what B project you should do, or what mini project should you do for web applications, or maybe any other subject that you might have. Google the problems and try to find a solution to problems. For B major project, I would recommend to do a research project. It requires a lot of efforts, but research projects is what you will learn the most from. Like, if in security, if you ask me, what you can do is you can pick some 5 CVEs, vulnerabilities, whose exploit have not yet been developed, right? And you can develop custom exploits that you might have to write code in C or Python for Metasploit, or just you can add it to the exploit database, right? So pick some 5 unique vulnerabilities, and then develop exploits for them and submit it to internet. And you will definitely get a public credit for it, but that's the after result. But focus on like developing exploits and stuff like that, and try to do a research project. You will learn a lot from it. Is it necessary to know about networking knowledge, networking concepts? Absolutely. You should be thorough with your like, there are some resources like OWASP top 10 for a web application, but you might be having a subject called computer networks, where you learn about TCP IP OSI model. You should know OSI model at any cost, because that's like the baseline for understanding. If you don't know OSI model, even if you understand a problem, you won't be able to actually fit that problem in the network architecture. Like, where on what layer is this problem exist, does this problem exist, and you won't understand a lot of corresponding stuff. So be sure that you are clear with your basic concepts. Deepak Mishra, which programming languages and skills are required for AWS and DevOps? Programming language is not important. Your logic is important, because every programming language is a different syntax. But if you know how to develop an algorithm for a specific problem you have, you can code it in any language you want. And so don't focus on like programming languages. Try focusing on building your logic and mindset. That will help you in the long run, rather than developing a programming language. I think these are all the questions that we have, and I thank you everyone for coming and listening to this webinar. And thank you, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. I really express my gratitude to the department as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Tejas. You have conducted such a wonderful session for the students. I hope this session is definitely helpful for those students, those who want to make their career in the security. And special thanks to our lecturing ma'am, Sarita Ambadekar, who helped and guided me to conduct such a wonderful session. And special thanks to our principal sir, vice principal ma'am, and dean of academic, those who gave me the permission to conduct such a wonderful session. Thank you once again. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.